Welcome to 5D Channels and Chats with Rachel Chamness. As a shamanic channel and mentor, I'll be sharing wisdom and healing from higher dimensions through channeling beings of light. You will also hear liquid Reiki shamanic sound healing, channels between intuitives, and discussion on higher dimensional healing and channeling. You'll find links and more in the show notes, so be sure to check them. You can find me at soundwavesheal.com and my Facebook group, 5D Daily Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions. Hi, this is Rachel. Thank you so much for tuning in to the special edition podcast. Last week in my November channeling event, I brought forth my most important spirit guides. All of us have many, many spirit guides, and we have some most important spirit guides, our closest spirit guides, and I teach all about that in my free Spirit Guide Masterclass, which you can find on my site, soundwavesheal.com. But I came live to show you how each one can help, teach you a little bit about them, trance channel them for a message for you and a healing for you. And this is the compilation of it all. So I hope that you like it. And don't forget to check out my Black Friday specials, which is one of the reasons that I did this, to show you why trance channeling can really change your life, because I do have a package for trance channeling available this weekend for Black Friday, which is a pretty rare occurrence for me to put anything on sale. And I also have a beginner package, and the beginner package can catapult you from very beginner to being an intermediate light worker very quickly. And you can even add on the tag trance channeling mediumship class if you'd like, and you'll have 6 months to get ready for it. And I give a lot of options for that. So if you want to check it out, please do. You'll find it on my events page at soundwavesheal.com/events. Thank you so much for coming. Good morning. Hi, everyone. How are you today? I'm Rachel Chamness at Soundwaves Heal. I wanted to talk today about your joy guide, and I'll be trance channeling mine. So I just want to show you a little bit about how your guides can help you and how my guides help me every day. So we have all kinds of spirit guides. You have way more than one. Sometimes people think there's just one spirit guide, but that's not true. We have many, many spirit guides, especially if you are a channel or a healer. And you probably are if you're watching this anyway, because anyone can open their gifts for healing or for channeling. Anybody can. So even if you're an advanced light worker and you're a Reiki master and you do all kinds of amazing things, do you know your inner band spirit guides? So these are the most important spirit guides that we've had since birth. We have 5 placements. We have the joy guide, we have the master teacher, the doctor teacher, the protector guide, and the alchemist guide. And these are our 5 most important guides. And we also have a gatekeeper guide, which is really important too, but not considered an inner band guide. So today I wanted to talk about the joy guide and bring mine through so I can show you how I use Fred, his name's Fred, for channeling. So your joy guide is a really important guide. This is a guide that gives you messages for yourself and for others. So if you read cards or if you get messages or anything like that, then that's likely your joy guide telling you the message. Your joy guide's probably talking to your client's joy guide and relaying that message through you. And that's what I call relay channeling or straight channeling, regular channeling. Now there's also trance channeling, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And trance channeling is when you bring your guide or your being of light. You have to have a lot of discernment and understand protection to do all this, which is all the parts that I teach. I teach several levels of trance channeling. And you let them come into you and speak through you. So when I teach this to beginners or intermediates or even advanced people who don't know how to trance, we always start with your inner band spirit guides, because these are a huge part of you. And when you use these spirit guides, then it's a very safe way to start. And of course, I teach lots and lots of protection. I know a big question is, well, how will I know? How will I know if I'm bringing through something of the light and something of the dark? Well, that's part of the process. So when I teach a class, I don't teach it anymore in like 5 weeks, that's it. Although 5 weeks is a good amount of time, I teach it now in a 6-month program. So it's a little bit more spread out, better for if you're busy anyway. And you can just give an hour or 2 hours if there's a class a week to your practice. And in this 6 months, you get to learn what is right and what is not. And your spirit guides may test you out. They may have you have a false guide or something, but you'll figure it out, won't you? Because you're coming to class with me, you're coming to class with one of my master practitioners, and we are checking that, and we are helping you, and we are telling you that yes, that's your guide. When you come into the space of the class, it is a very safe space. It's a safe circle. I teach how to do a sacred circle in your place too. And I teach it online only because I want you to learn how to trance channel in your own space. So that's how I teach it, because it's no use if you come to my studio where I do sessions and I teach you to trance channel and then you go home and you can't do it, you know? So again, this is for beginners to advanced. So spirit guides and the inner band, this is a really important part of your spirit guides. This is who are really showing you what to do, how to go forward, what's truth, what's not. These are your other guides. As you get to know them, we'll be like, that's a false guide or whatever. We have a few questions. Let me answer a few of them and then I'll trance channel and I'll tell you about my guide, whose name is Fred. You cannot make this up. And he's a polar bear. So your joy guide can usually be, it can be like an elemental being many times, or it could be something else, but usually they're full of fun. So I got a polar bear in a Hawaiian shirt and I was like, what is happening? This is not a fairy. Like I really expected a fairy because I have so much fairy energy, you know, I have fairy, you know, fae cards and everything. And I don't know if you know, I have some elemental fae oracle cards that I sell, so an indie deck that I made. And anyway, I've always been with the fae. So I was like, why is this a polar bear? And then years later, I found out that polar bears are elemental beings. And they are just ones that also come into the 3D, which is pretty cool. Okay, so, all right. So Heather has a good question. I'm unfamiliar how to grow my relationship with my main guides. Well, I have a free resource for that. It is on my site, soundwavesheal.com/spirit guides. It's under classes on my website, soundwavesheal.com. And that has a 30-minute class that teaches you how to communicate with your spirit guides, how to start a relationship with them, and how to further it, and even how to place boundaries. Because we have to have spiritual boundaries. We don't want like our guides waking us up in the middle of the night unless, you know, there's an emergency, which that happens too, you know. So I put it in like, it's a 20 to 30 minute class and it's free and you can get it from there. So that's a good question. And then here is a good question, Teresa. Do you have to ask your guides to come in before you have these classes and get permission? Your guides are always with you. It is good to ask them. As always with anything in spirit, especially angels, if you ask, they will help you more. They have more ability to help you if you ask. But they're already there. And we do that in the class. We ask them to come in. We ask for them to come forward. Okay, so your joy guide brings some messages through. Mine's name is Fred. And I'm going to trance channel him. So how do I use him? When I first met Fred, he helped me a lot with bringing messages through. He helped me with, they also like to help with finding joy. You know, they want to remind us that we are here for a reason. Like we came here because we're like, woohoo, I'm coming to Earth. I'm going to have so much fun. I'm going to have so many hard lessons and I'm going to get the shadow work. It's going to be amazing. And then we get here and we're like, it's so hard because we have earthly amnesia. We don't realize that we have so many guides and helpers. And then we have to, you know, learn how to work with them. We have to learn that we're not alone and all of that stuff. So they come through to help us. Once we get to know them, they really help. So Fred has helped me a lot. He helps me a lot in classes. He helps me a lot in sessions. And when you first bring your guides through, sometimes they talk a lot about you. They might say things that are really simple and it's pretty aggravating. It's like, you're finally trance channeling and your guide's like, Rachel, just trust in yourself and believe and love yourself more. And you just need to practice. Like they say things like that. And it's really frustrating at first. But if you keep practicing, they will eventually come through for others. And that's what happened to me. I trance channeled my guides for other people at first. That's what I did in my first sessions. And some of my students do that too. If they practice enough and it starts coming through more, then they're already bringing their guides, even I have a student now who's even just in her second month, just started her second month, and she's already bringing healing through for her guides. She's already bringing messages through with different guides. So, you know, you can do that too. So let me bring in Fred, and he's very silly, and we'll let him talk to you and give you a message for today. Hello, I'm Fred. Yes, you would call me a polar bear here. Our 3D counterparts are a way for us to come into this earth so that we can be guides and helpers, and we are also in the higher dimensions, in 5th and 6th dimensions of Fey Earth. I have been with Rachel since her birth and in 2 past lives as well, and you will find that your joy guide also has been with you since birth and is also likely someone you know from a past life or many. And our business with the people is to help you remember that you are here to have fun. Are you supposed to be scrolling all day or working all the time? No, you have to take breaks, go out in the sunshine, and really remember what fun is and do it. It is a heavy time in Earth's atmosphere, and you are bombarded with distractions, and everything is colluded to make you have an even shorter attention span. That is very true. And so you must take time out and do nothing. You must, or play a game, or be silly. Remember what used to make fun. Dance around and sing. Sing to your favorite era of music from when you were about 15. And go to that dance class, and go take that art class, and go do that fun thing, and go have dinner with your friends, and remember what you used to do that was so fun. Or if you don't know, then it's time to find out what's fun and truly bring that back into your life, and you will find a much smoother life, much smoother time in this atmosphere of what is Earth now. And it takes introspection, it takes sometimes meditation, connection to your guides to raise your vibrational frequency, and this can help you as well. And I will give you a healing. This healing will be for expanding your mind to have more fun. We'll give your mind a little expansion, let it open up, and help you remember what it's like to have fun. And I'm sorry if you have to go back to a past life to remember, but anything to get you forward is what we're about here. Ay, I don't so to kiss. I got it. Got in my eye. I cook to this yard. It's got it. I push it. I don't see a man on the sorry up a high and an knee. Take a deep breath and take some time to maybe take a pencil and a pen and a piece of paper and write out some things when inspiration hits you of things you like to do. Oh my gosh, he's so ridiculous. He just said as he went out, he went, I like bowling. And he left. Oh my God. Please look at my Black Friday specials. I'm Rachel Chamness at soundwavesheal.com. You'll find them on my events page or in any email you've received from me in November. I'm also putting in my November emails 15 things I like about being a trance channel. I think you might like that. So our guides can just help us in so many ways. They really have helped me build every bit of my business. They told me what to do. They always say, yes, do this, or no, don't do that. Or, you know, they do all kinds of things, and they're funny. They make me laugh. They're always around. And yeah, they're a great part of my life, and I hope for them to be a great part of yours. And of course, you can do that for free. It's my little get to know me package here, and it comes with the masterclass that teaches you about spirit guides, but it comes with an attunement to unicorns, and it comes with tons of really high level meditations that, you know, even if you're advanced, you're going to love. So I kind of tailor my stuff to advanced, but with a beginner opening. So I do have 2 Black Friday specials. One is the Tag Trance, which is my 6-month course for trance channeling for beginners to intermediate to advanced, depending. You do have to be ready. I have to kind of qualify you for it to make sure you're ready for it. And I do that to make sure that you can trance channel. I don't let you come into the class unless I'm absolutely positive you can do it now, because I like to keep my 100% and I don't want you to be frustrated. So I just want to make sure you can do it. So there's that, and that's 30% off. And then I have a beginner's special, which is all kinds of up-leveling. It's a one-to-one session with me, 60 minutes, which I don't normally offer. And it is to help you find your light path and give you any kind of clearing, healing, up-leveling, whatever you want. Of course, I do that all the time in 45-minute or 75-minute, but this comes in the package. You get a year of tag, which will absolutely just open you up so much and change your life and give you weekly, almost daily support. And it's a huge library of learning and connections. And you get Reiki 1, Psychic Reiki Healing is my Reiki. So begin to really open yourself up to this beautiful world of spirituality. And you can trade that out for Reiki 2 if you want, for my Psychic Reiki Healing 2, which includes a ton of psychic healing techniques that I do, and they are always being updated. I always add to it. So it's got a ton of stuff in there. You can see it on my website. And then light language attunement, so, and class. So, and you can trade that out for the advanced one too. So we have all that, and I put all that 50% off because I just want you guys to really jump in. If you're ready to explore in this spiritual world, then now's really the time. Where we're at Ascension, it is the time. So please, don't put it off, whatever you do. So today I wanted to bring forth my Doctor Teacher Guide and tell you a little bit about the Doctor Teacher Guide, because you have one too. So these are the inner band of spirit guides. These are 5 positions of guides that everyone has, and you have at least one in each place. You might have more than one, or you might not. They are with you since birth. And they're also different incarnations of themselves. Sometimes when people think they have 2, it's really the same one. For instance, when I bring forth my master teacher, it's Archangel Ariel, but she first came to me as Ruth from the Bible. So I had Ruth and Ariel for a while until I understood that Ariel was the higher incarnation of Ruth. So that happens too. When you're a kid, you might have stuffed animals, or you might have an invisible friends, or you might have some sort of spirit that's with you, that's helping you, that's like something like cuddly, like it might be your doll or your teddy bear, and that you see them as a bear, or like your stuffed unicorn, you know, and these spirits in there, that's why they seem so real to kids. It can be their spirit guides. And then as we upgrade our spirit guides, you know, they become something else. And it is important to upgrade your spirit guides pretty often. We do it in class, but I also have a blog post on it at soundwavesheal.com. You can search in there for upgrade spirit guides. It'll come up. So we do upgrade them as we go. So Doctor Teacher, they are also called the Doctor of Philosophy, and they are your teacher guide. So they help guide you to people who can help. For instance, if you felt really drawn to one of my classes or drawn to me for class, that could be your doctor teacher pushing you there. Like a lot of times people say, I don't know how I found you. It's like, I just found you and then I took the classes. I feel like I was led. So, or to someone else, obviously. And you might feel like a book falls off the shelf and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about this, and here's a book I forgot I had that talks about that thing I wanted to learn. And so, you know, they guide you to these things. They They are often, well, they can be anything. One thing I love to teach is that there really are no rules. The way that I taught trance channeling, there were so many rules, and I found that some of them were false and not all of them were great. For instance, where they stand or who they could be. There were some rules that I've thrown out because after teaching, I think I've taught 150 people how to trance channel in the last several years. I see that some of these are not exactly what I was taught. So in my teaching, I always say, well, throw out the rules. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who they could be. And they also tell a story about you. So yeah, Judy calls them ascension guides. Some people call them soul guides. I call them spirit guides. I use the word ascension guides for any guides that come in to help us with ascension, like all the beings, the high beings of light, like masters and angels and deities and all that come to tag light workers, for instance, which is for ascension, to help you with ascension. But you can call them that too, because that's what they're here for. They're here to just help you, and you're supposed to be ascending. So that's exactly, So any words, they don't care. Okay. So my doctor teacher is a shaman, and this actually has a lot of significance for me, but I didn't figure it out until later. She first came to me as an elephant. The first thing I saw of her was just this elephant's eye, very wrinkled, gray, very close up. And then I saw this ornate scene where I was like riding an elephant, some sort of past life. I was getting married. It looked very, I don't know, I was wearing a sari and like a very colorful veil. Everyone was wearing colorful saris. So it was very cool. And I was riding on this elephant. And then, so I just thought she was an elephant. I asked her what her name was. She said, Mother. My name's Mother. Everybody calls me Mother. So I called her that for years. And then eventually she told me her name is Ezra, which is a little hard to say in English. She's not from Earth, but I call her Mother Ezra, and she's my doctor teacher guide. I would like to bring her in for you and trance channel her. Again, that just means I'll let her talk through me. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Mother has to say to you. And I'm sure she'll bring you a healing too, because I love to do that. I am pleased to be among you all who are watching now and in the future. Time is a tricky subject between me as a guide and you on the earth plane experiencing time in a linear fashion. But yes, a doctor teacher guide is your philosopher, your philosophical helper. And your doctor teacher helps you find your way by bringing you to helpful people, places, and things, classes and courses, or places or people who can help, or places that lead to people who lead to classes, who lead to discoveries, who lead to other things. So it's not just about learning with a class, but also learning from your own helpers or your past lives or your higher self. A learning and aha moments. This is all what we are in charge of. And I'd like to say that your spirit guides and your doctor teacher guide has a past with you in a past life at least once and knows you from some place. Maybe not a past life. You may know your doctor teacher from beyond the veil when you are in spirit or in your highest self or soul or fragment of God, or however you'd like to think of your highest self or spark of your soul. And as this, we may know you, or you may know your doctor teacher, and have decided to embark on this life together. So you are never alone, and these guides in your inner band have been with you since you were born and since before you came. There was a time where we all sat down and discussed how the life would go, looked at soul contracts, and decided what the different interventions would look like when things happen, when big things happen. They're likely interventions you have put in place In case you don't succeed in understanding the message at one fork of the road, then you will have another intervention to help. Sometimes interventions are people or messages, and if you continue to ignore the message, it gets stronger and stronger, and then perhaps something to shake you up, to have you really get the message that is coming to you, that you must learn, for you have put all of this in front of you. What will you learn in this life? What will you go through? What do you want to accomplish? What feeling do you want as a human being? Because human beings in this third dimensional and fourth dimensional life, there's so many feelings and sensory things, and so we have many of those experience layered in as well. Those are a little more of the fun things that you might put in there, but as a soul and a spirit, you're often thinking that it is going to be a riot of fun. You see this life ahead and you say, oh, it will be so fun. Right, and then you may come into the density and realize, oh, this is much harder than I thought it would be. And when that happens, remember, you are surrounded by those who have decided to take this leap with you and to help you in every way. Now, I would just like to give you a healing and a clearing to help you with this day, for you to see the world through the miraculous eyes of your higher self in a way that reminds you that this is an adventure to be had, and that every decision is bringing you on another path, which always can be brought back to where you're headed. The long way or the short way does not matter, but you are just flowing and solving your problems in a way that feels more interesting than feeling put upon. We want to look at the life. This is an adventure to be had, not something put upon me. And here you are. Okay, that was Mother Ezra. And I hope you like that channel and healing. She's very interesting. I forgot to tell you what she looked like. You know, I told you that first I'd seen the eye of the elephant and I thought she was an elephant for a long time. And then once I got, you know, a little more comfortable with having spirit guides and communicating with them, then she transformed to a woman. She looks like a little old woman with dark skin, lots of wrinkles, just like the elephant. She has so many wrinkles. She's very small. She wears a red kaftan, like sort of ceremonial dress and hat. She says she's from another realm, so not from Earth. Yeah. Heather says, I often see large eyes when I close my eyes. Must be a spirit guide very close. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the Dr. Teacher Spirit Guide? Now, if you want to learn more about spirit guides, I have a free resource, soundwavesheal.com/spirit guides. It'll bring you to the hub where I have all my videos, which is learn.soundwavesheal.com. And you can sign up for the Spirit Guide course, and it has a masterclass all about all the guides, how to communicate with them, and how to have spiritual boundaries. And then it also has like a unicorn attunement for flow and luck with the Archangel Metatron. And then there's, I think there's a sound bath in there with Carrie Mook, one of my master practitioners and beautiful friend. And then there's also a lot of meditations from Tag. So it's kind of like a Tag Lightworkers mini samples. We learned 6 different ways to channel in my course, Tag Trance, which is on sale, 30% off on Black Friday. And there's a wait list that will keep you in the know and give you a bonus and an early early sign up. If you sign up first, the first 10 people who sign up for that get a free 30-minute session. And for my beginners package, which is another Black Friday, really great 50% off deal, the first 5 people get a mini session too. So you guys should check that out. Check out my emails if you haven't seen it, or my events page on my soundwaveshill.com. So the inner band spirit guides that I'm channeling for you this week, today I'm doing 2. My protector guide, his name is Crouching Bear. And then my gatekeeper guide, she is a bug fairy named Ephramelia. And I hardly ever channel her for anyone, just for my class. I do have a trance channeling class. I actually have a signature class, which is everything that I teach basically in trance channeling in higher dimensions, bringing through any kind of being of light. But I also have a regular trance channeling level 1, and this is for beginners who meet certain criteria, and also advanced people as well. If you don't know how to trance channel, or you want to know how to do it safely and get a lot of feedback, one-to-one help, support of a small group, that's what the Tag Trance Channeling Mediumship class is all about. And it is on sale for Black Friday. I have both a beginner package that's like 50% off, all the beginner stuff you'll need to be advanced in just a few months. And this package is my 6-month class of trance channeling, which I teach in 6 months, not a weekend, because I want to make sure that this is not something you do in a weekend and can never do again. There's a lot that goes on with trance channeling. You have to understand discernment and safety and all of that. So I walk you through it. I help you open your clairs more so that you can get more. There's a whole lot that goes with it. It's not every day or anything like that. It's twice a month plus your practice. So it's not like going to take up your entire life. You have time to do it. If you want to learn to trance channel, then please reach out to me and let's make sure that the class will work for you, because I don't let you in unless I'm sure that it's going to work for you. And if I don't think it'll work for you yet, I have other solutions. So feel free to reach out and invest in yourself to learn how to do this, because I think it's really important. Okay. That's enough of that. But anyway, yeah, there's huge Black Friday specials, so check them out. So what does the protector guide do? What do you think it does? Can you guess? Our protector guide protects us. And I know your question. You're already saying, but then if I have a protector guide, I must not have one because I had this entity or this happened or all these terrible things happened to me in my life. How could I possibly have a protector guide? Okay, so there's a whole thing there. It's the same thing as like your guardian angel. A lot of things that your protector guide does is kind of attributed to, oh, must have been my guardian angel. Your protector guide protects you so much, and when they do, you cannot see it because you were protected from it. Or you think, how did I get out of that car accident alive? And with barely a scratch. That happened to me, you know? How in the world did that happen? Well, protector guide. Or angels, you know, I felt both on that day. But your protector guide cannot protect you from the things that you put in motion for yourself. You have soul contracts with people who have hurt you in this life, because on the other side, they are people who love you. And they're like, I love you so much, I'll come and be hated by you and do this horrible thing to you so that you can grow and learn. It is a place for you to learn. So we put these things in place for us, you know, this bad thing's going to happen. And all these things are going to help me wake up, you know, and understand and learn to deal through tragedy. If we had a perfect life, we would not be able to handle anything. We wouldn't. We have to have these things happen so that we can grow. And it's the same, you know, it's this thing to remind ourselves when we're parents. It's like we can't protect our kids from everything because all those little things help them grow. You know, sometimes like the funniest comedian you know was picked on by everybody, right? But they learn to have that caustic personality that's so funny because of that, you know, and they've built this beautiful life for themselves and they're so funny and you love them, and it never would have happened, you know, if they hadn't been picked on. So that's a small example, but so your protector guide's always there. They can't prevent you from the things you put in place for yourself before you came into this life, and we all did. We all put things, you know, to learn more. So that they cannot do, but they can protect you from all kinds of things. Let's say I know this has happened to you. You're like walking in the city and you look and you get this like feeling like that alley, Like, I'm not even going to look in that alley. Like, I can just feel that that's bad. I'm just going to walk really fast. That's your protector guide going, woo, or leave now, leave now. Or like, have you ever just had this like sudden feeling and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to do, I don't know why, but I got to go, you know? And you just don't know. And sometimes, have you ever lost your keys for like an hour and you're like, this is ridiculous, I'm so late. And then you find out there was like a huge accident, and had you been on time, I mean, people with 9/11, you know, this is like a huge thing. Lots of people were late that day, didn't make it there. You know, a lot of that stuff happens. So I have chills. This is your protector guide. So my protector guide and your protector guide will be sometimes, okay, again, I'm going to say like yesterday, I don't believe in rules. I was taught lots of rules, but I don't believe in them. After teaching over like 150 people how to trance channel, I know that there are no rules. And we come from all over the galaxy. Our spirit's here. This is just one life. All of you are star seeds. I mean, it is very, very rare that someone was, your first life was in Earth. I mean, it could happen. Sure, you could be your first life on Earth and you've just been here forever and ever and ever, but you are still an old soul, you know? So we come from all over, and even a starseed designation is not really a thing, because all we are is source, however you want to think of the universe, one big light, one big thought who said, hey, let's go see what different personalities and different lives feel like. So we go out and we become an angel, we become, you know, this kind of guy, this, you know, this kind of being, and then we're like, hey, let's go to Earth. Great idea. But no, we're really here for a reason, and we're here at a wonderful time. We won the lottery to come here at this time. So there's my spiel. But anyway, about the protector guide. Mine, first he showed himself to me as a bear, which all of them kind of showed themselves to me as an animal at first because I was a little nervous. And then once he upgraded to a higher version of himself, which they do, and I have a blog post about that if you want to learn how to upgrade your guides, but you can just intend or ask that they be upgraded. And he showed up as a Native American. Sometimes if you're like Scottish, you might get a Viking. You could get like, you just get some sort of strong-mannered, you know, being. You could get a giant, elemental giant. You could get some sort of, you know, starseed being. It doesn't matter, but you're going to get someone who feels very protective. Now, I've had people get like little fairies too. So again, it doesn't matter. Like a little fairy with a big punch, you know? These protector guides, you know, they don't have to be strong, but they sometimes show themselves to us in that way. So my bear, eventually he showed up as like a Native American dude. And then we did have lives together before in the past, like all of my guides, all of your guides, you've had lives with them in the past. So your protector guide is protecting you. How do I use my protector guide? Mostly I use my protector guide where he just tells me like, don't go here, don't go there. This is not really a guide that I often use for helping others. Like I might use some of my other guides for that, like my doctor teacher or my master teacher, but you know, he is helpful. So let's just bring him in and I'll trance channel him for you, okay? I am Bear. You may call me Bear. I am a protector guide for this one. I've come to say that your protection is something that your protector guide takes very seriously, and you are protected by so much that you do not see. Sometimes if you need to learn a lesson, we will allow something into your field for you to learn from that and grow and move forward. That is part of the learning. So if you believe that your protector guide isn't working very well, then you must be going through some learning at this time. And this is very common, and it can help to get outside views and help and to share with others to get through this hard time if it is happening. And you may feel that your protector guide doesn't talk to you very often, even if you know who they are. We are busy at this time. There is a lot going on Earth, and often we aren't big talkers. Your guides fulfill many duties for you, though this one, Rachel, speaks that some are useful to help others with, they could be a different guide for you, or it all depends on what you do. If you are a security guard, for instance, or you are in charge of other people's security, perhaps at some time, maybe not always, but sometimes, then your protector guide is a very helpful being that helps you and others. And there are other times as well, but I'll wrap this up. I'd like to give you a healing for really feeling your protector guide and feeling that connection, for feeling protection around you, for knowing that it's there, for once that you know that it's there, you can put your mind to it and increase your belief. And the more that you allow this spirituality and these beliefs into your heart, the more you will open in the psychic senses and your growth into new earth. This is Rachel. Okay. He doesn't talk very much very often, so that's probably the most I've heard him talk. So yes, your protector guide will protect you, and that is an interesting point. Okay, so when I first learned to trance channel my guides, they came through and helped me a lot. I talked about that yesterday. And then I used them to help other people in my sessions at first until I learned to speak with all kinds of guides. So I have students who do that now, who have learned trance channeling with their guides. It's very safe to learn trance channeling with your guides because your spirit guides are part of you. My classes are only like six to seven people, depending. And it's always that the guides know each other. People really find a lot of soul family in the classes. It's really interesting how that you get put together. And I do see protector guides sometimes allow entities in your field or a hard time, and that will show you what you need to learn and may lead you to someone. Like one time I had a horrible time with spiritual attack, worse than ever. And it was really making me crazy because I was like, why? You know, this is not something that I usually have a problem with. And I teach people protection. So what is happening? It's about 4 years ago. And so it forced me to go and get help. I mean, not that I don't have sessions with people. I do. I really believe that we all need to have sessions with each other. It's very important to upkeep our own spiritual field with a view from outside of ourselves, especially if you work on lots of people. And I work on hundreds of people. So I really need to, be very conscious of that. And I do, and I recommend it. So I actually went to Steve Nobel, and he helped me figure out what was happening and what was allowing it, and I was able to clear it and learn from that, and also teach a lot of techniques that I learned that day and through that experience. So it was important. And these techniques are techniques that I find very, very important. I see it happen all the time. You can be doing lots of spiritual work, a full-time spiritual entrepreneur, and then suddenly you have this time where you just are attacked and you don't know what to do. That's very common. And there's a few things you can do. There's a lot that you need to learn at that level. That's why I teach a lot of different kinds of safety protection at each level. And then eventually you get to a point where protection is a whole other thing, where you can really kind of loosen up with, having to do all the protective things because you are divinely always protected, and you can truly believe in that, but that's a little more advanced. Okay, so the gatekeeper guide. So who's your gatekeeper guide? Your gatekeeper guide is the guide who stands in front of the metaphysical gate. So you have a metaphysical gate, and behind that are all the spirit or, beings of light or, ancestors or whoever of your clients and you who want to talk to you. And so your gatekeeper holds the gate, and your joy guide is your bouncer. So your joy guide goes back there and makes sure, no, not you, you're okay, get in line, and he puts them in line. Well, mine's a he. So the gatekeeper is just in charge of holding that gate for you. So I actually don't channel her that often, except for in class. Her name is Evermelia. She's a white bug fairy. She looks like, I think, like a dragonfly. She's hard to see because I only see her as like white light. So I bring her through, usually just for practice, for my practice class, because she just helps me really. But I thought I would bring her through so you could understand. And maybe she'll tell you a little bit about your gatekeeper guide. So learning about your gatekeeper guide can really help you, because if you had a question about what was something about behind the gate, or if there was someone behind the gate that you wanted to talk to, like my gatekeeper is who I check with when I'm like, hey, before I come live, I'm like, hey, is Bear here? Yes. Ephraim here, who's also Elvin. Their names are similar, which is interesting. Yes, he's here. Or like if I'm going to do a session for someone who wants to talk to their past loved one, I always ask ahead of time, is so-and-so going to be here? Can she be here? Will you come? And then she says yes. And I'm using my gatekeeper for that. So let me trance channel this fairy, Ephraim. These are two non-talkers. That's why I put them together. We'll see what she says. Hello, I'm Ephraim. Your gatekeeper is a very important part of your team, and it is important to know your gatekeeper. For if you need assistance, we can help. We can give you information to help you with any problems with your gate. We hold the gate clear, and if there is interference by another guide who wishes for you to learn, then that will be something you can ask us. We can let you know which guide to speak with, and we can help you know who will be coming to your sessions or who is available for you to channel. Perhaps you wish to channel a goddess or an angel or another fae or other being. Well, then you can ask the gatekeeper to arrange this for you. And so we are very helpful in that way. Okay, I knew it was going to be short. She's not going to say much. Do you guys have any questions about any of this? Is there anything you'd like to know? Ephraim is not going to give a healing, she says. So, can a guide take on more than one role? They can. So, in some ways, your guides will do different things. Like, for instance, your joy guide sometimes protects you. They all kind of do a little bit of protection. So, like, they all do different things, but they all sometimes come into like protection or, what's your light path, like that. They help with that too a lot. So yeah, but you have so many guides. So those are just the 6 main guides, the ones that I'm talking about this week. 5 are your inner band and then your gatekeeper, but then you have lots of outer bands of guides, and you have temporary guides. You have all different kinds of guides. And so you can always get more. And then sometimes people have 2. So sometimes if someone's joy guide is not very joyful, you might ask for a second one or find out what's happening there to clear that or to upgrade them to a more joyful guide. So Kathy, you don't understand the gatekeeper role. So the metaphysical gate is your psychic channeling. So all the beings who want to come through you for psychic channeling, whether it's written or giving you messages or giving messages to other people, your gatekeeper holds the gate, meaning that she doesn't let them through. She doesn't let them come all into your life all at once and cause chaos. So if that's ever happening, then that's more about spiritual boundaries, because she holds that gate, meaning that they cannot come in until it's time. Sorry if I didn't describe that well. And when you want to channel someone or when you call for a message, then she will allow them to bring the message through. Otherwise, it would be chaos. So that's why you have a gatekeeper. Yeah. So this is the November channeling event. And what I'm doing is I'm just trance channeling my 6 most important guides. And why am I doing that? Because I teach trance channeling. And in my level 1 class, this is what I teach. I teach you how to trance channel your most important guides, because they can help you grow so much. They can help your business. They can help your love life, your personal life. They can help everything. And knowing them this well is amazing. And once you get to know them even better, once you practice with them, trance channeling, then you can bring them forward for information for others. It takes a little practice, but that's what's built into my trance channeling course. If you do the practice, you'll quickly begin to bring forward some messages for others. And in fact, I have a wonderful testimonial from Money Par, who is one of my students on my Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, things like that. So hopefully you guys will see that. So today I'm trance channeling an elf called Ephraim. He's my alchemist guide. So what your alchemist guide is, also known as your chemist guide. This guide, they control your alchemy. So they can help you bring your vibration high so that you can trance channel or do other higher dimensional work. They can help you with other things, like if you need to ask for more melatonin to go to sleep or something like that. This is who you'd ask. You could ask them to balance your hormones, things like that. You can ask yours to do that right now. That's what they're there for. But also they're your healer guide. So when you bring them through, you can also channel their healing. And in my course, that's what we do. We meet each one. We practice with them with trance channeling, and we also practice with other types of channeling. And so this is my favorite guide to work with, and this is the one we're working with this month in my Tag Trance group. We're doing both trance channeling and trance healing, which is my favorite thing, and that's something that I really teach a lot of in my signature course, of course. What else can your alchemist guide help you with? Well, this is probably a guide that you might be using to heal with if you're not, you know, formally attuned to a type of healing that helps you channel light. So the difference between doing something like Reiki, light language, even angel fire, which is just an $11 course on my site, you know, all of those things are channeled light. Well, actually, angel fire is more like a request for light from the angels. So it's more like a prayer, but it works in the same way that you're not using your own light. You're asking these higher dimensional beings to help you with the light. So when you do that, you don't use your own light, and that's really important. So I get this a lot. If you're looking at all my things and you don't know where to start, I always recommend you start with Reiki 1. But the other thing is, and the reason that I'm doing this to bring some, you know, attention to the things that I do, is that I'm having a huge Black Friday sale on Black Friday. If you sign up for the wait list, that doesn't mean you have to buy anything, but it'll give you a little bit more information, and it will help you to buy it early so that you don't have to wait till Friday. You can do it the night before Thanksgiving, and the first 5 people who buy the beginners package get a free mini session, and the first 10 people who buy the advanced package, which is the trance channeling, can win a 30-minute session. And you can win both, because in the beginner package you can add on. You can add the tag trance to it, and you have 6 months to qualify. And you can read all about that or ask me questions if you want. But I'm going to trance channel. Oh, I meant to put this one up, actually. I was talking about the alchemist guide. So you have a spirit guide. That's an alchemist guide too. It can be anything. I don't think that you're surprised that mine is Fae, because as you know, I am all about the Fae. I have my cards behind me right there. I have my Fae Oracle cards, which are also on sale, 20% off. They're on USA, Amazon, or on my site. Actually, if you go to my site, you can get both links. Okay, so of course, mine's a Fae, because I do a lot of Fae healing. I even have a program that teaches people how to use Fae healing. And then, of course, we also do that in my monthly group in Tag. So no one's surprised. But your alchemist guide could be anything. It could be any kind of being. And it's really cool to see who your guides are, because it really gives you a clue. And if you have questions about your alchemist guide or spirit guides in general, trance channeling, Reiki, anything like that, put them in the comments. And if you want to, you can also reach out to me if you have questions anytime, because I have a lot of things. So I can usually send you to some free thing of mine that you can watch that will answer your question. So, and I'm happy to do that. Let's bring in Ephraim. And whenever I channel Ephraim for trance channeling, which is where I let them speak through me, I feel so crazy. So I'm just going to tell you right now, he makes me feel like really tall. And every time my hands, which I don't usually feel when I trance channel, hands get really long. And he has these long oval fingernails, which I don't have. Mine are square because I play the piano. I play the piano badly. Anyway, it feels so crazy. Okay, here we go. Hello, I am Ephraim, and yes, I am an elf. And I live in the Fae lands of Earth in the fifth dimensional and higher portion of Earth. I am sixth dimensional in this incarnation, and I have a higher incarnation that is of a higher level. But here as Ephraim, that is who I am. And do you know that Earth is a Fey land in the fifth dimension and in the sixth dimension? And all of your childhood fantasies that you were told were imagination are present here on this Earth. It is true. And the Fae do wish to connect with you. And we do help. And we are happy to invite you to our world in the fifth dimension and beyond. And we are so happy that you are coming on this ascension journey and that we can help you get there. So please reach out to your own Fae spirit guides and reach out to your alchemist guide who helps you in every way, helps you connect to higher realms, helps you disconnect, helps you return to 3D, helps you with your healing abilities, and helps you with your own innate healing ability, which you can access easily by learning more concepts and ways of channeling light and connecting it to your own healing ability, which comes from a past life or your higher self. It is very important that here in the 3D, you learn to connect these things. For your healing ability does not work the same on this earth as it did before. And so there are ways to increase that channeled light to help you stay healthy and vibrant as you heal others. And now I'd like to give you a healing for walking in the light. I sense there is sometimes fear about coming into your abilities because you fear the dark. But I'm here to tell you that the dark is there, whether you have skills to fight it or not. And the more skills you have, the better off you will be. It is true that your guides may let something come into your field as a lesson to you. And once you learn the lesson, you will not have that particular problem again. And we have allowed things in this medium's field to teach her many things as well. And it has never harmed her. And so now here's your healing for you to walk more firmly in your light, shedding fear and expanding your light with true belief in yourself. Well, that's Ephraim. That's true. I say that a lot too. Of course, I say that a lot because I hear them say those things to me all the time. So a lot of times they say things and I'm like, that sounds like something I'd say. They're like, that's because we told you that. Like, okay. So, yeah, that's true. It's really nice to learn how to channel the Reiki ray or light language, angel fire, just anything else so that you don't use your own light when you're healing. There's a lot to learn through Reiki, and it's up level. It heals you. You know, it's good to know that you're actually channeling light and not using your own. That's what I think. And once you have Reiki, it's just Reiki on. It's always there working in your life, and it's great. I do want to say that Ephraim was the guide who changed my life, because he was the one who came in and just started sound healing. I trance channeled him and he was like healing, sound healing, all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, I could do this without having to take like a zillion classes. I could just learn to channel it, and then I wouldn't have to know everything. And that's what I love about being a channel. I don't have to hold information in my head all the time. I'm just channeling it. All the things I say are usually channeled by my spirit guides, and I don't have to know everything. But of course I've learned a lot by doing that, because they give a lot of the same messages over the past many years. But still, I don't have to know everything, but I can solve almost any problem. I can help you in almost every single way. If you ask, I just channel your guides and they tell me what you need. So it's very, very easy once you become a trance channel, especially if you do like higher levels, to be able to just bring forth anything you need, because I can attune people to anybody, even if I've never met them, to their own spirit guides, to all kinds of beings I've never met. First, of course, I check in that they're beings of the light, and that's part of the courses too, but it's amazing. Hi everyone, how are you? I am Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal. I will be trance channeling today Archangel Ariel. I wanted today to talk about the Master Teacher Guide. I'm Rachel Chamness. I'm at Sound Waves Heal, talking about spirit guides today. If you don't know me, I am a shamanic channel and mentor, and I help people trance channel, not just messages, but healing. I teach all types of channeling. I have a psychic Reiki healing course and light language courses as well. And I help light workers open their clairs, expand their channeling, and all of their modalities, help you work with your modalities in a way that works for you in your own way, and help you expand your gifts so that you can have a really unique offering and do your work full time. So that's what I love to do. So today I am talking about the Master Teacher Guide. Now, if you want to learn about your guides, I have this free guide right here, a free package, a free bundle of spirit guide information and just to get to know me package. It has a spirit guide masterclass that teaches you all about your guides and how to connect with them, how to communicate with them, and things like that. And then it also has things like a unicorn attunement and lots of meditations, things like that. And it's a really great little package, and it's free, so you can get that anytime. But this week I've just been kind of breaking it down. One inner band is what we call it, spirit guides at a time. So we have 5 spaces, 5 places of inner band guides, and each one has been with you since birth. And each one, except for one, the one we're doing today, each one only stays with you. You are their only charge. They have incarnated with you in this life to help you in this life. Every single one, they're only working with you. Even if you have someone there like Merlin or Jesus or some of these, guides that a lot of people have, it just means that you have an aspect of Jesus or an aspect of Merlin or Archangel Ariel or whatever to help you. And that aspect only helps you. Now, there is an exception. There's the Master Teacher Guide. So your Master Teacher Guide is your main guide. When you hear people say, this is my main guide, this is what they're talking about, their Master Teacher Guide. And your Master Teacher Guide does have more than one charge. They will work with you and they can work with others as well. And they're also kind of the boss. They're in charge of your other guides. And when I bring through the Master Teacher in my trance channeling class in level 1, when we bring them through with a group and everybody brings theirs through, then this is the one class where we don't really work so much on like an extra channeling or divination or extra kind of channeling. In this class, we really just focus on what's my light path? Like, what am I going to be doing? What will I be doing in the future? How can you help me now? What's my next step? That's the kind of thing we work on in that class with our Master Teacher. And that's what your Master Teacher can really help with, like your main plan, whatever you're going to do in this life, like your light path. So I call it the light path. That just means that it's a path for you that makes you light up. Like it makes you, it's just what you love to do. Like I love doing this, teaching people how to trance channel, teaching people how to open their clairs and come into spirituality or advance very quickly or become even more advanced. I work with very advanced clients as well. And that's what I love to do. So that lights me up. Now it's also my path. It's what I came here to do. And it also helps others. So those are the three parts of what I would call the light path. And you have one too. And if you don't know what it is, then it's time to find out. I help people with that. Or if, you know, it needs some tweaking, because we always need a little tweaking on our light path. So today I'm channeling Archangel Ariel, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about that. When my master teacher came to me, she said, I'm Ruth. And now I knew I had a guide named Ruth. If you know my story, I was always trying to figure out who are my guides. And I would ask mediums all the time, like, just tell me who my guides are. And they never could tell me. They would say, I'm not getting it. Or they would say, you know what, I'm not supposed to tell you. And it was making me so mad. I mean, at this point, I'm in my 40s, okay? And I'm just like, what is happening? Why can't I know my guides? You know, and then what happened was, it's because it forced me to take a trance channeling class. I took a class because I was just dying to know who my guides were. And because of that class, I have done all these things, including make my own class, which I feel is really complete and has everything in it that you need to really be successful. And so when I was trying to find out who my guide was, what I did was I just started calling her Mary, because I didn't know what to call her. I knew she was there, and I knew she did things like mess with my clocks and stuff like that. So anyway, I went back to I guess she was like my mentor, and she said, hey, your guide is saying her name is not Mary, it's Ruth. Please stop calling her Mary. And I was like, woohoo, I know her name, it's Ruth. So when I did the master teacher, I had forgotten about that, but then Ruth came to me. So Ruth is Ruth from the Bible, you know, if you want to say it that way. And I, you know, didn't grow up all that religious, so I don't really know I read the Red Tent. That's about as much as I know about Ruth as far as the Bible goes, or like the story of her, but that's who it is. Historically, it is Ruth. I thought I had two master teachers, Ruth and Archangel Ariel, and it does feel that way because in each of their incarnations, they are slightly different. But it turns out that Ruth is Archangel Ariel. She says that that's her earthly life. When she was once a human on earth, it was as Ruth. So that's pretty cool to know. There's lots of angels who have a human life here. You know, officially in the Christian religion there's only two, but that's not true. There's many. So I'm gonna trance channel her. Of course she's gonna give you a message and a healing. Here we go. Hello, I'm pleased to be well met here with you. Many of you know me, and I am so glad to be part of the known archangels in this time period. For I am always here to help you and to help you with your work. You may call on me at any time. And yes, I am a master teacher for this one. And you have a master teacher, or two or three maybe. Usually when you have more than one, it is the same as what this one has experienced, that we are higher incarnations of ourselves. For every soul has many incarnations, as you do as well. It is likely that you've been an angel, perhaps a deity, that you've been an elemental, of course. Of course you have. Why else would you be on this elemental earth if you have not been an elemental? Perhaps it was a long time ago, and perhaps it was recent. But your earth is an elemental earth. And so you will once again be among your elemental friends in the fifth dimension. And you will see them in their full glory. And angels, yes, we do not appear to you in the way that we look. We appear to you in a human shape to help you understand and not be afraid. As you have read in your historical documents, we have found that it is quite concerning when we show up in full sight of what we look like. And so we have learned to show ourselves as a more human-like feature for you. But it is no matter because we are source. And for those of you who say, why should I channel anything that is not source? Because everything is source. You are source. Your spirit guides are source. All is source. Even negative beings are source, playing their own role. However, when you channel, you will learn the proper ways to channel and stay in your sovereignty. You will learn how to be as safe as you can be. You will say the sentence this one teaches, I only work with beings of the highest light. And when you channel your guides, they are just a part of source. In fact, everything is such a part of source that it makes no difference. It is a part of source that holds a certain frequency that you are needing. For instance, I am the master teacher for Rachel, and I hold that space and that frequency of helping her with the light path. And this is very specific. So she will call on me for this instead of always calling on one source. And that is a great way in which other beings of light can help as well. You are looking for help with defeating obstacles in your quest for true sovereignty and abundance. Then you may call on Ganesh, who is well known for clearing away obstacles. And you see that is very effective. And it feels very good on the 3D, 4D human feeling plane. And so you have a master teacher who can help you well and wishes for you to know them. You may begin, if you are such a very beginner, to ask for a sign. If you are a channel, then sit in silence and call them forward. Ask them to tell you who they are. And I will give you a healing now to help you shine your light on this beautiful planet that you are on and in this beautiful life that you are inhabiting now. Hi everyone. It's me again. Obviously, I'm not quite as elegant as that, especially in speaking, as Archangel Ariel. And when she's Ruth, I'm like such a fangirl too. I mean, Ariel's one of my favorite angels. I can't remember which came first, her being my favorite or her being my master teacher. Ariel's your angel guide too, that's right. Love it. She's pretty popular angel guide too. So, does anyone have any questions? So Heather, yes, you would totally be fine with this course. I've seen you channel. You were in my channeling class last weekend and you were amazing. And once you start trance channeling, you will feel it when other people do it. You'll know when they're trancing and when they're not. I mean, I think for most people, maybe not everyone does, but if you do feel that feeling when you see someone trance channeling, then you know you're already trance channeling. It's probably what it means. Because when I learned to trance channel, I realized I was doing it all the time. I thought it was a total ditz. Like people called me a ditz. Like I felt like I was really like, because I have all that fairy energy. But it was really that I was going and like I was totally trancing. I might not have let them talk to me, but I was like somewhere else. Pretty crazy all the time. Yes, tingles are a sign. Jessica, definitely. Oh, Teresa says, I'm trying to figure out who my angel is. And I asked my spirit guide, I heard Daniel. Daniel is a beautiful archangel. He's in charge of ascension with Metatron. And so that's great, Teresa. Yeah, so your master teacher isn't always an angel. It could be any kind of being. It's just that mine happened, well, mine was Ruth and just happened to then upgrade to an angel. So you never know. One of the reasons that we don't remember when we channel is because it's not coming from us. So like, if I were to ask you, Shauna, what should I do about, my kid's school or something? And you were like, just talking to me and you're like, as a friend, and you just gave me your advice, you would remember that. But if you were channeling, then it's not coming from your brain. It's like coming through you. And especially if you're trance channeling, you're like barely there. So it's like you can kind of hold on to it for a little bit, but then it goes away. But luckily, my spirit guides usually remind me. Like sometimes I can't remember anything about the last session when I work on someone, but their spirit guides will remind me what I need to know. And sometimes that's on purpose, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're like, remember, this is what happened. They give me this whole like download, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Right? It's so funny. That's one of the reasons that I noticed I was a trance channel too, is because people were asking my advice and I was just giving them this incredible advice. And I was like a hot mess. Like, how in the world did I have any advice? And then I'd be like, where did that come from? That's really good advice. And why are people asking me for advice? That's what I felt like before. And someone said, you should be a coach. And I was like, really? That's right before I started finding out that I was a trance channel and stuff. You too, yeah. I mean, sometimes the very best counselors, not that I'm sort of a counselor because I've learned so much from all these beings of light, and I mainly let them talk to me anyway. But is when you had a sort of crazy hot mess life, and then you learn to get through it, because, that's kind of happens to most of us, right? Kathy says, I could feel Ariel as the healing was sung. That's nice. I love how each of your guys have a different sound to their healings. Me too. And you know what? Sometimes I'm like, does it always sound the same? And then I play it back and it doesn't. And people are like, no, it doesn't always sound the same. Like, okay. And sometimes they're really different. Yeah. Heather says, hot mess to not mess. Yeah, same. So if there's anyone out there who feels like they're a hot mess, then don't worry, there's hope for you. All right, well, thank you guys. If you ever have more questions, you can, tag me and ask me a question, or you can just send me a message. That's totally fine. I'm happy to, point you in a direction. I have lots of free stuff everywhere, and I can send you to them. And if you want to learn from me, of course, reach out to me. I've got many programs. I can tell you where to start or what's best for you, where you should start. Especially a mini session, we could really dive in and see what would help you the most. And I have a little video on my sessions page, which is like, if you don't know where to start, then start with a mini session. Or if you don't have it, start with Reiki 1. Reiki 1 is a big up leveler, and it really will catapult you into a higher vibration. And it's also like a full beginner's course, you can learn about chakras, you learn about so much. And but I include like an abundance class and all kinds of stuff in there. Okay, well, I'm so glad you guys were here with me. Thank you so much. I do have Black Friday sales. You can see it here. If you don't get my newsletter, then you can go to my events page and find it. And I have a beginner's bundle, 50% off to like begin your journey. Or you can even upgrade. If you already have Reiki 1 or Light Language, you can upgrade those two to the advanced courses. And I have an advanced course, which is Trance Channeling Mediumship. And it's 30% off. This is the one time you'll find it on sale. So if you'd like to learn about that, you can just sign up to be reminded with the wait list. And yeah, reach out to me if you want. So thank you guys so much. And I'll see you all. Tag members, I'll see you in 30 minutes on Missy's Live. Okay? Bye. See you later. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are a healer or spiritual entrepreneur, present or future, I'd like to invite you to my Facebook group, 5D Daily, Spiritual Healers in Higher Dimensions, where I'll be live for more discussion and questions on Thursdays. I'll put the link in the show notes. I'm Rachel Chamness at Sound Waves Heal.